Hello designers, this is me Azad and it is day 2 of Beginners to Pro series in AutoCAD. Yesterday we discussed about the introduction and the GUI of the AutoCAD, and in the today's class we are going to discuss about the draw tool, where I am going to teach you all the things, okay, which are over there here. Okay. Yeah, so as yesterday we discussed, like whenever it is come to AutoCAD, you have to set the units and limits at the beginning, right? So for which, okay, so the type, okay, so the unit, okay, I'm going to look at, okay, so will be units basically, right? So units I'll be going to click, and then I'm going to set the things, okay, what all I wanted, okay. So here you can see the type, as you know, it has to be decimal, and then precision 0.00 and millimeter, the standard, okay, all these things we discussed, okay. So just click OK, and then it is about the limits, okay. So limits you just type, and then 0 tab 0, enter 420 tab 297, okay. So which means I'm specifying as a A3, then Z enter, A enter, okay. So these things are very basic. Okay, so whenever you're starting any of the drawing, okay, so you have to follow these steps. Okay, so for every drawing. Okay, now it is about the draw tool. Okay, so in which like the first and foremost command is your line. Okay, so if you can see here, there are two things. One is line and one is the polyline. Okay, so if I go with the line, okay, so it's just line. Okay, so which will come something like this. Okay, so I'm just randomly drawing this. Okay, so that I can be able to differentiate what is the line and as well as the polyline. Okay. So then I'll take the polyline, and for that also like I'll just go something like this. Okay. So if you can notice in these two things, okay, so there is not much difference while looking wise. Okay, if you look at this and this, okay, so don't go for the shape how it is. Okay, so just about the line I'm talking about. Okay, so if you see, look at this and this, there is no basic difference which you can see. Okay, so by naked eyes. But when you go and select on it, okay, so you can see here I can be able to select only a particular line. Okay, so which we call it as segment basically. Okay, so here the segment selection only it is happening. Okay. But if I come for the polyline, it will be a joined line. You can see if I select any of the one line also, each and every line. Okay. So in that particular chain, while creating you did, okay, will be selected. Okay. So that is what the main difference between your line as well as line and the polyline basically, right? So the thing is, when we are going to use the line and when we are going to use the polyline. Okay. So suppose these things will be varying, okay, with respect to your modification tool in that particularly your offset. Okay. So how you want the offset with respect to that, you will go as a line as well as the polyline. Okay. So but still you can go with the line and the line polyline. Both the things you can use. There is no issue. Okay. So particularly where all you can. Okay. So that thing will be going to discuss. Okay. So when we discuss the practice session like the examples and all. Okay. So now the thing is, this is not the only difference, okay, so which we have in the line and the polyline. Okay, so in the polyline we have the other features also. Okay, so I'll just go through it. You can see if I just go for the polyline. Okay, so before starting, okay, so otherwise after starting also, if I just right click on that, you can see there are many options are there. Okay, so which will be there over here. Okay. So, but the thing is, not every option we are going to use. Okay, so in that I'll be going to focus on just some arc and the yeah, the like complete will be there, like the close. Okay, so I'll be going to discuss about that. You can say I just created a line. Okay, I'm just creating a line. Okay, so in this, if I want to create a arc, okay, so I can directly right click on this and I can go for the arc. You can see that arc will be produced. Okay, but the arc will be always the tangential. Okay, so until unless you go again to the option and change it to the line. Okay, so it will be going to come as a line. Sorry, arc itself. Okay, and now I started somewhere over here, right? I started somewhere over here, and my line it is as of now here. I wanted to close it. Okay, I wanted to close the loop. Okay, so that time try just right click on that and close. Okay, you can see from the end point to the starting point, it will be going to join like this. Okay, but the thing is, if my line, okay, so as of now, the last command I was in the line. Okay, suppose if I'm in the arc, okay, so that time what happens? Okay, you can see here. I'll just go with the again polyline. I'll just at last I'll go with the arc. Okay, and now I'll just create some arcs like this. Okay, and now suppose if I'm going, okay, so now if I'm going right click and if I'm going for the close, okay, so in this scenario you can see it will be closed as a arc. This is not a straight line, it is arc. Okay, so to be specific, okay, one more time I'll just show you. You can see here, just go with the arc. Okay, and now here I'll just right click on that and I'll go for the close. Okay, you can see how I came arc. Okay, in the that meant only it will be just going to close. Okay, in terms of arc only. Okay, so yeah, these are the some of the feature, okay, which is readily available in the polyline. Okay, so majorly arc we might use. Okay, so not other options. Okay, so those things you can just ignore. Oh yeah, this is what the difference. Okay, and the what all about the line and the polyline. Okay, And as we discussed yesterday about the ortho mode, okay, so for drawing a perfect rectangle, okay, so I can just draw the line by the like polyline along with the usage of your ortho mode. Okay, if I just turn on it, you can see a perfect rectangle like this, and with the help of your snapping and your reference line, you can be able to draw a rectangle like this. Okay, you can see once I click on that, it's a perfect rectangle. Completely, it will be going to select. Okay, yeah, it's not like with the line only we have to create a rectangle. The rectangle command is also there if you can see over here. Yeah, so but still, okay, it's a line and the polyline. Okay, and as I told whatever the command it is there, you can type it and get it. Okay, so instead of going over here, you can directly type L enter. Okay, so it will give you the line. Okay, in the same way, this is the shortcut basically. L enter means the shortcut of the line. Okay, so in the same way for the polyline, okay, so it will be PL. Okay, so PL will be the polyline likewise. Okay, so for the line it is L, for the polyline it is PL. Okay, so likewise for everything. Okay, so there will be the shortcut. Okay, and that too, like each command, if you just start with the initial, it will come into your dynamic. So as we turn on the dynamic input, you can see, suppose I wanted a circle. If I just draw a C, you can see C for circle and CO is copy. Okay, so likewise the other things are also there. Okay, so this particular thing is your basically the shortcut to access this particular command. Okay, yeah, so that is how it is. You can use the command like as a with respect to the command directly from here. Otherwise, you can access it from typing also. Okay, so it is up to you how you are going to use. Okay, and that is why the AutoCAD is majorly used. Okay, because here the maximum of the commands. Okay, so any of the command you can just type it and get it. Okay, so that's why many people will be relying on the shortcuts and they'll be doing the work, which will make the works faster basically. Okay, yeah, so that is what the thing. So this is the basic thing about your line as well as the polyline. Okay, so next thing is your circle. Okay, so there are total six different types of the circles are there. Okay, so as I told, the AutoCAD is a driven dimension. Okay, so once you create the circle, you can't be able to change the value of it. Okay, so that's why we are having the multiple types of the circles. Otherwise, if you go for any of the other software like SolidWorks and the CATIA, there will have very minimum circles. Okay, so majorly center circle as well as one as a 3 point circle. Okay, so to get the tangential circles basically, right? Yeah, so that is how it is, the difference. Okay, and here as it is driven, we are having the multiple types of the circle. Okay, so the first thing, it is a center radius. Okay, so where we are going to give the radius value. Okay, so I'll just go there and enter, which will give me the normal screen. Okay, so I'll go with that. Okay, so you can see just click once. Okay, and you can see I can be able to add the radius value. Okay, so in the same way, I added as of now 40. Okay, so if again, if I go for the center diameter circle, you can see with the same 40, this time it will be smaller than this. Why? Because here I gave the 40 as a radius. Okay, and here I gave the 40 as a diameter. Okay, so that is the difference between your center radius and the center diameter. Okay, and one more thing in any of the draw tool. Okay, so in the AutoCAD basically, if you wanted to get the last command, okay, so you'll be going to press the space bar. Okay, so if I press the space bar, I'll be going to get the last command. Okay, so but here is the trick. Okay, so once it comes, okay, so in your draw tool, okay, so whenever you're drawing about the circle as well as in the arc, okay, you should be careful about this. Okay, suppose I drawn a circle. Okay, so center diameter circle. Okay, just take that and I'll draw it for some 60. Okay, so I drawn a circle over here. Okay, so as I told, the last command you can access by typing space bar. Okay, so as well as with the enter also you can get the same thing. Okay, so with the enter and the space bar, you are going to get the last command. Okay, so I'll just press the space. Okay, now you can see last time I gave 60, right? This time also I'll try to give the 60, but this time you can see the circle is bigger than this. Why? Because this time it took the first thing. Okay, so which is your radius. Okay, so this is not a diameter actually, it's a radius. Okay, so that is how it is. Any of the circle you choose, when you press the space or the enter, it will take as the first one. Okay, so which is your center radius over here. Okay, in the same way if it comes to arc, okay, so here also if any of the arc if you're choosing, okay, it will come for the 3 point arc. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so here if you press the space or the enter, you can access the last command. But if the command, if it is circle or arc, okay, so you should be careful. Okay, again if it is here, if you here also two things are there, one is rectangle and the polygon. Okay, if you are rectangle, if you press the space bar, you'll be going to get the rectangle only. Okay, so this mistake will happen only for the circle and the arc, not for the other commands. Okay, so in any other command if you are using, that time you can rely on this. Okay, and many time you will be. Okay, and that you can see, I'll just go with the line. Yeah, so here I just drawn a line. Okay, so and for completing the command also you can be able to, you can press it space bar. Okay, so if I press the space bar, you can see it got exited. Okay, so in the same way as I told, the space bar again will get you the same command. Okay, so if I press that, you can see again I'll get the line here. Okay, the thing is, instead of pressing one time, okay, so if I press one more time, where it stopped, okay, so from there only it will be going to start. Okay, so that is what the one more thing. Okay, so if you press twice, where you stopped, okay, so there only it will be going to start again. Okay, so yeah, that is the thing with the space bar. Okay, so I think it's clear, right, about the line, polyline, as well as the circle. In the circle, a radius and the diameter. Okay, so coming for the other circles, okay, suppose the thing is, see, all the circles will be having the different requirements. Okay, suppose where we can use this 2 point. Okay, I don't know the radius as well. If I know the radius and the diameter, I can go directly with this. Okay, suppose I don't know the radius as well as the diameter. Okay, but I know there are 2 points. Okay, so where that circle or the circle is touching. Okay, and those 2 points are this. Suppose. Okay, I'll just click on this point as well as this point. You can see my circle is created. Okay. Likewise, okay, so usually suppose I have one the point over like one line over here and one more line over here. Now I'll go for the 2 point circle. One point will be over here and one will be over here. Okay, so you can see this is the circle which is touching to this circle, this line as well as this line. Okay, so that is what the requirement or the usage of your 2 point circle. Okay, in the same way the 3 point means 3 points. Okay, so 3 points will be requiring for that. Okay, so something like this it is there. Okay, so I'll just turn off this. Yeah, now you can see 3 point circle, 1 point, second point, and third point. Okay, so this is what the usage of your 3 point circle. Okay, so radius circle, diameter circle, 2 point circle, as well as 3 point circle. Okay, so then we are having the special circle. Okay, so which is very important. Okay, so and majorly used. Okay, so in your many of the mechanical drawings. Okay, so which is tan radius and tan. Okay, so here the tan means tangency. Okay, so here I have a circle which is between this and it is having some radius. If that is the scenario, we have to go for tan radius. Okay, so if I just go for that, you can see here tangent is there, here tangent is there. The radius of that it is of somewhere like 150. Okay, so why it didn't came means the dimension here it is more. Okay, so I'll just measure that how much it is. Yeah, so roughly I'll do. You can see it is near 400. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go for the tan radius. Here 10, I'll go for some 500 values. Okay, so that time you can see this is the circle whose radius is 500 and it is having a tangency with this circle as well as this circle. Okay, so that is what tan radius means. Okay, so then what do you mean by tan? Okay, so tan means three tangencies. Okay, so when you give three tangencies, you need not to give the radius. Okay, so I'll just go for that. One tangency over here, one is over here, and one is over here. You can see the circle. Okay, so which is having the maintaining the tangency with this circle, and this circle you will be created. Okay, tan is very rare case, but the tan radius you will be using maximum. Okay, so yeah, in the upcoming examples also we might be able to go for that. Okay, that time I'll be showing you. Okay, so regarding the advantage or the usage of this. Okay, so anyways, this 2.3 point is also like very ideal, and this two is the majorly used. Okay, so either radius or this diameter. Okay, so you can go for the radius circle directly, and the diameter you can give just the half. Okay, so likewise also you can do. Okay, and majorly this and this. Okay, so that is the thing. Otherwise like other things not that much used. Okay, so but still. Okay, so this is what the circles basically. Okay, and this is the family of circle. Okay, so I think I hope this is clear. And the next thing it is about the arc. Okay, so we'll just go for the arc. So you can see there are total 9 different types of the arcs are there. Okay, so which are over here. Along with that, 1 and 2. Okay, so total 11 different arcs. Okay, so in which this arcs I'll just discuss and later I'll go for this two. Okay, otherwise I will start with this directly. Okay, so which is 3 point arc. Okay, so which is not that much used. Okay, suppose you have a arc. Okay, so as I told. Okay, so here you can't give the directly the value. While creating itself, you have to give the value. Okay, so that is the thing because if you go for if you go for the other softwares, the 3 point is the one which is maximum used. Okay, so but here that is the different. Okay, so I'll just show you a 3 point arc. 1 point here, one at the center or the midpoint, and then the end point. Okay, so I'll just explain you about the arc who it is. Okay, I'll just click on this. You can see 3 points you can be able to see here and 1 point over here. Okay, so you should know, see this point what it is called as the center. Okay, and this is your start point, this is your end point, and this is your midpoint. Okay, so you should know about this four things. Okay, so this all the points what it called as. Okay, so because this is very important for the types of the arc basically. Okay, so as I told, this is the center, start, end, and mid. Okay, so this about the like name of the points you should know. Okay, yeah. So then I'll just show you go through it, and this is the 3 point arc basically where for start and middle and mid and end I am going to give. Okay, so coming to the other. Okay, so you focus on this three and this three. Okay, so it is same similar only. Here it is start, center, end, but here it is center, start, end. Okay, which means see, this is start, center, end. Okay. So, but here it is center, start, end. Likewise. Okay. So, it is just about the requirement or the position or the orientation how you are drawing. Okay. So, suppose I'll go for the start and like start and start, center, end. See, start point, center point, and the end point. Okay. So, in terms of okay. So, start, center, and end point, and this is my arc. Okay. So, in the same way, if I go for the other one, okay. So, which was center, start, end. Okay. I'll just go to this. If I to take the same point and if I start somewhere from here, you can see it's a concentric arc where I gave the for this I started from here, then middle point and then the end point. Okay, but for this, first only center point, then the start point, and then the end point. Okay, so this thing will be going to same for the others also. You can see start, center, angle, start point, center point, and the angle. You can see how much ever angle I am going to give over here. You can see 45 degree it is showing, which means here also like to the normal to that until this edge it will be going to 45. Okay, so likewise. Okay, so if I take a line like this. Okay, so normal to here as till here. Okay, so now the if I just measure the angle between this, it will be going to 45. Okay, so if I want to just show you, you can see sorry, angular from here to here, it has to be 45. You can see. Okay, yeah, so that is how it is. Start and angle. Okay, so in the same way, center start angle. If I go with center start angle, center starting point somewhere from here, and then again for this also I'll just give 45. Okay, you can see both arc are same similar likewise. Okay, so start center angle, center start angle likewise. Okay, and then start center length and center start length. Okay, so start center and the length. Okay, this length, okay, what is shown? 948 will be the length of the arc. Okay, so if I go here, arc length I can be able to get. Okay, you can see it will be the length of the arc. Okay, so what I gave. Okay, yeah, so that is how it is. Then yeah, so I'll just go with the center start angle. Okay, sorry, center start length. Okay, again, which is similar to this only. Okay, so that is what the type it is same. It is just about the orientation or the point what we are going to specify. Okay, yeah, so coming to this, it is somewhat different. But the thing is, here it is about the start and the center. But here it is start and the end. Okay, so which I told way before. See, in this, this will be going to be a start and this will be going to be an end. And we are you are very least bothered about the center point. Okay, which comes somewhere over here. Okay, so we are least bothered about this. All matter to us is this and this point. Okay, so in these three scenarios. Okay, so start end angle. Okay, so starting point, ending point, and the angle of the arc. Okay, so suppose something like this if it is there. Okay, so in that scenario. Okay, and again same again you can say start end direction. Okay, so starting ending point this direction or this direction likewise. Okay, and one more thing is center start like start and radius. Okay, so you can see here to here this is my point. Okay, so I have some radius of 500. Okay, so this is my arc where the radius of that is 500 and this is the starting and this is the ending. Okay, yeah, so something like that is your this thing. Okay, and this is about all about your arc. Okay, so arc family of the arc. Okay, so in that the last one is not a, it is also the arc only, but we can in somehow we can tell this as a tangential arc. Okay, what is going to do? Okay, so when you click on the continue, it will be going to continue the last arc. Okay, so it is not you are not going to give. Okay, so from any of the reference. Okay, so any last arc what you created from there a tangential arc it will be going to create. Okay, again you can see if I click continue, you can see again the last arc continued as a tangential. In the same way, it will go like that. Okay, yeah. So this is what is about your family of the arcs. Okay, yeah. So then we'll go for this two. Okay, so which is basically rectangle and the polygon. Okay, so if I go for the rectangle, it is a corner rectangle basically from here till end. Okay, so this is how I'll be going to create a rectangle. Very simple thing. Okay, so just I'll going to start from here. Okay, so then I'll going to give the value for changing the thing. I as you know tab. Okay, so tab from 300. Okay, so this is a rectangle which is horizontally 500 and vertically 300. Okay, so likewise this is the rectangle basically. Okay, so in the same way one more thing we are having which is polygon, and the polygon is the one, okay, which is having the number of sides which is equal also. Okay, and here okay, so we can specify polygon in many different ways. Okay, you can see I'll just go for the polygon. Okay, so first and foremost thing I have to give is number of sides. Okay, so as I told, the polygon is the one which is having the number of sides. Okay, so as of now, the number of sides, and that too, not exactly the number of side. The number of side has to be three or more. Okay, so if it is three, we just call it as rectangle, like sorry, triangle. If it is four, we call it as square. Likewise, polygon, your pentagon, hexagon. Likewise, it goes. Okay. So as of now, I'll just create a six digit, like six number of sites. Enter, and then you can see it is asking me about the center point. Okay. See the polygon. We can give either the diameter of that. Otherwise, actually not exactly the diameter, the radius of that. Otherwise, the edge distance. Okay. So I'll tell you what is radius and what is the distance. Because as of now, it is asking me to specify the center point. Once I specify the center point, it asks me about the inscribed in circle and circumscribed about the circle. Okay. So then what is this? I'll tell you. Okay. So before that, what I'll do, I'll just take a radius circle and I'll be going to create a circle whose radius of 50. Okay. In the same way, one more circle I'm just going to create whose radius is also 50. Okay. So these are the two circles. Okay. So whose radius is same. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a polygon with a six number of sides with the center point somewhere over here. And then I'm going to specify inscribed in circle and I'm going to give the radius which I gave for the circle. Okay. So which was 50. Okay. Yeah. In the same way, I'll create one more polygon in the middle of this. Okay. So six number of sides, mid of this. Okay, circumscribed about the circle, and here also value will be going to similar, which is 50. Okay, and you can see the difference. Here also I gave the 50, here also I gave the 50. Okay, but in this case what happened, the polygon came inside the circle. Okay, which means the radius what we are going to give will be from center to the corner. Okay, so in this case what is happening, the polygon is circumferential about the circle. Okay, so here what is happening, from the center to edge it is going to come. Okay, so this is the inscribed in circle and this is circumscribed about the circle. Okay, so this is the one we are going to give with respect to the radius. Okay, so here you can see the distance. Okay, or the edge distance will be very much irrespective. Okay, so it might be, yeah, here it came properly, but if you need to go for this thing. Okay, so you can see it not be that much proper. Okay, so whatever you want to specify as the edge distance. Okay, so it might not get. Okay, sometimes particularly you want to specify the edge distance. That time what you can do, you can just go for the polygon. Okay, so number of sides is simple. Okay, so before giving the center of like center point, here there is something called as edge. It is there. Okay, so you need to click on that. Okay, so once you click on that, you need to click the you need to select the point, and now you can see here it is not about inscribe with the circumscribe. It is about the edge distance basically. Okay, so edge distance I wanted some 20. Okay, you can see this is the polygon which is not created with respect to the radius, it is created with respect to the edge. Okay, yeah, so these are the different types of the polygon which you can create, and the number of sides you can give anything. Okay, so in this example I just take it as a 6. Okay, and in major of the mechanical case it will be 6 only. Okay, yeah, so that is the case, and this is what all about your polygon. Okay, then we have the ellipse, the family of ellipse. Okay, so in this we are having the center. Okay, so which is center ellipse. Okay, so from the center point, and ellipse is the one which is having the major and the minor axis. Okay, so here you can see the major axis I give so much, and minor axis I'll be going to give so much, and this is what is my ellipse. Okay, so which is the oval shape basically. Okay, yeah. So then in the same way, the one more thing it is there, which is axis and, okay, so which will be already like as of now, if I go and create, which is exactly similar to the before one. Okay, so then why they gave as axis and as well as the center one. Okay, so why it is means, see, in the future classes, we'll be going to discuss about the isometric drawing, where we need to create the circle. Okay, so that circle is only created by this axis end. Okay, so we can't use these circles in the isometric drawings. We have to go for the axis end and the iso circle. Okay, so that time only it will be used. Okay, and as of now, for the 2D, you can use this as well as this. It will work similar only. Okay, so but in 3D, it works different. 3D in the sense 3D drawing I am talking about, which is called as iso draft in the AutoCAD. Okay, yeah, so then at last it is elliptical arc. Okay, so which is the partial arc, partial ellipse basically, right? So ellipse we are going to create from this edge to like somewhat arc I wanted. Okay, how we have the circle arc, circular arcs, in the same way we are adding the elliptical arc also. Okay, yeah. So this is what all about the draw tool. Okay, so this hatching tool will be going to cover in a different class. Okay, because it is also like different topic itself. Okay, so that's why, yeah, this is what all about the draw tools. Okay, I hope you understand all the things. If you don't get any of the thing, or else if you have any doubts, let me know in the comment box. And thanks for the watching, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.